Well, you can probably tell I'm not standing behind a 2001 ZX6R. If I am, I've made a lot of changes to that bike. No, I am not. Pigpen has officially gone from a recipient of donor parts to donor part bike status. As a matter of fact, Pigpen in some ways is all around us, definitely all in front of us. And I'll get into that here in a second. Pigpen was originally the recipient bike for anything that I would have found, and well, sometimes when you're looking you find stuff that kind of takes a step up. So what I found was an 04 636. It has 24,000 miles on it, about 13,000 miles less than Pigpen has on it. This bike is fuel injected. Pigpen was carbureted, but that is one change. Obviously I want the fuel injection. I wanted to go that way in the first place. I had future plans to put injection on Pigpen, but if you can get a bike with it already on it, why reinvent the wheel? This bike has the telescopic inverted forks on it, which is something that I also plan on putting on Pigpen. Once again, why reinvent the wheel? As far as the swing arm and stuff, this is pretty much the same exact swing arm that Pigpen had. The only difference is it has more mounting tabs for the, hang on, pretty much the same swing arm that Pigpen has, except that it has the mounting tabs for the hugger. It has a better rear shock than what Pigpen had with it. Braking on the bike, I would say, is probably about the same. Obviously, and I know people are going to argue with me on that, but if you're not going to go to the Nissans or something like that, really, I mean, it's kind of a moot point. But it is a nice bike. The difference is the forks on this bike have the ability for me to upgrade to the Nissans so that I don't have to spend the money on the forks of Pigpen to get it to the point to where it can get the brakes that it needs to have. So a lot of pieces would have had to have been added to Pigpen to get it even remotely close to where this bike is right now. So Pigpen has gone on to greener pastures. She is actually going upstate a little bit and will be serving out the rest of her time up there. And I pillaged her of quite a few things. So I've got the wheels from Pigpen, I've got all the plastics from Pigpen, I've got a lot of parts from Pigpen that I kept on hand. Not necessarily that are going to fit this, but you never want to get rid of everything. This bike, however, does share a lot of the same parts with Pigpen. The controls are easily swapped over, so these are actually the controls off the 01. Actually, I'm wrong on that. I lied about that. That was a lie. These are the grips off the 01. These are the levers off of the 01. but the electronics are off of the 04. The headlight harness, which I'm not really going to need, but the headlight harness is from the 01, which is stick pin. And I know there's about a million other things. But like I said, the rear wheel swaps over with no problem. The rear brake is the same. And just various other things throughout the bike. The engine bolts, a lot of the hardware and things are shared among the two bikes. So all those parts from Pigpen are now added on to this to actually kind of put this together. Now, this bike was pretty much all the way there. It was yeah, for the most part it was there, but just like everybody when they take them apart, they don't go through the time to put all the hardware into proper containers, and they usually end up in just one basket, and then it's the next person's job to figure them out. Well, so you can see here, it's got the, that's my wife with the wind chimes. Okay, so here's the tank for the 04 636. It is not in that bad a shape. It has some rust on it, little couple areas, nothing major, just a little bit of surface rust. You can see, well, you're not going to be able to see it because my camera sucks, but there's a little bit around the seams here, and nothing major. Nothing that a wire wheel and a little bit of time won't take care of. The worst part though is opposite of this here. You can see this little indentation here first, because there's this. Now this part of the tank, if you look, with that indentation comes back to here, so this actual dent occurred on this part, not in the indentation, so it pushed it in. For whatever reason, the way he had the bike set up, handlebars were able to come back around and hit that, and it made a big dent. So we're going to fix that and make that right. We're going to swap out the fuel pump. We're going to put the 07 and up fuel pump in, so we get rid of the sump, and we're going to improve our situation there with the nasty filtering system that the 636s are famous for. So we're going to do away with that, and probably repaint this thing back to silver. I don't like the silver, it matches the silver frame. Normally I would paint the frame black any time of the week, but for some reason the silver on the silver frame, I'm digging it. It's just, the combo for me just really, the combo for me really works. The silver tank, the silver frame, I think it looks good. The all black bike, the all silver bike, I think it's a good combo. But anyways, we've got that. Got the throttle bodies here. As you've seen, the bike runs, so we have no problems there. I'm going to go through and clean all these up because they look like they've lived for a little while. So we're going to fix all of those, and we're going to keep going. I'm going to change the camera angle to something different because I've got nothing else to say now. So far, I've done some history, a little bit of research on the history of this thing. And I can tell you that a couple of components off of it definitely sat on the shelf for the better half of 6 to 7 years, and were put back on the road in 2014, which I believe is when the person I got it from got it. Plug for the diagnostic cap is missing, which is a real treat. Appreciate that. But you can simply run I just go to the orange wire. If you're looking for your diagnostic lead, sorry I'm moving the camera around. If you're looking for your diagnostic lead and the cap is gone, the orange wire there, I can't get it to focus because my camera sucks, sorry. The orange wire there, this one, simply run a lead off that, run that to your negative battery cable, and that puts it into dealer mode. The 02 or the 01 would have actually made a better track bike. So if you're watching this from a track bike standpoint, and this is just what I've learned, and I'm an expert in this in any way, shape, or form, but the key to a track bike is to keep the cost as low as possible. So the difference between the 01 and this 04, technology-wise, rider aid-wise, so as far as the forks and things of that sort, I am not a good enough rider to utilize the 01 to its maximum potential. Therefore, upgrading the 01 to the specs that are on the 04 doesn't really get me anything, if you're following me. It's not going to improve my lap times because I'm not a good enough rider yet to push this bike to its extreme. I'm not that good of a rider. So with that being said, either one of these two bikes would have been adequate for the track. Now, Pigpen would have been a better bike because of cost. Parts are less expensive for the 01, the 2000, the 2001, and the 2002, and that's because they shared a lot of the same parts with the 98, the 99, heck, even all the way back to the 96. So a lot of the same parts were shared across a wider range of bikes. On this bike, being an 04 636, there were really only 2 years that this body style was made. That was 03 and 04. Now they did make the ZX6RRs, but they didn't make enough of those, and it's not like those are on every corner being parted out. But, so there's really only 2 years that this bike was made. Now, 05, 06 does share a lot of the same components. Most of the engine components and things of that sort, yes, they bolt and they cross over. So they work. The forks swap out, like the fuel pump we talked about, that swaps out. So there's a lot of pieces that are going to, and we may not have talked about that fuel pump depending on how I edit this, but a lot of the pieces are going to swap out to 05 and 06 as well. But then in 07, which is my black bike, there was a hard line and the bike went back to a 599. So there are a few pieces that'll split across from that too, but from a track bike standpoint, availability and price of parts, in my eyes, would be something you'd want to look at. So an 01, being that I could pull 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, all the way across, and then add to that, that bike became the ZZR 600 from 03 until 08. So there's a wide pool of parts. So if you're watching this from an inexpensive track bike thing, I just threw all that out the window. Because this bike is going to be a little bit more expensive to build simply because the parts are going to be less available. Now, they're also still available from Kawasaki, so not as many parts have been discontinued, but you know as well as I do, when you go to buy them from the manufacturer, you're going to pay more for it. So it is going to be a little more expensive to build this bike, but what I gained from this bike, that's what I want. But at the end of the day, it's always up to you. It's always your decision. But from an economical standpoint, this bike is actually not as good of a track bike as Pigpen, the 2001 ZX6R would have been. From a cost standpoint, those parts were a lot more readily available. There's a lot more bikes that are on Craigslist that you can pick up that are really just piles. And you can build multiple bikes out of it. So this is a step up, but it's also a step up in cost. And it will, I think in the long run, it's going to be an investment the right way, because I wanted to make sure that we got into some fuel injection on this channel, and this bike gives us that. So for right now, what I'm really focusing on is just cleaning the bike up. I want to go through, I want to get it cleaned up, I want to get all the sludge out of it. It's got 24,000 miles on it, and I can imagine that probably hasn't been going through in at least the last, 10, I would say. It probably hasn't had a good bath. So we're going to fix all that. Okay, thanks for stopping by. Be sure to go below and check out these social media links. Stay up to date on everything going on. I'm going to put together another video on this bike as I move along. As you can tell, it's together, but we're going to blow it all apart and redo a bunch of stuff on it. So there's going to be plenty of videos, plenty of things to talk about, and it should be a fun summer. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.